Okay. So some of these you will already know. Some of these will be new. Okay. So a linear pair of angles. Take a look at that picture. What does the word linear mean? In a line. In a line. So a linear pair of angles are angles that create a line. Okay? So if you open up this flap, we'll make this as big as possible here, friends. Okay? So a linear pair of angles are two adjacent. What does the word adjacent mean? Next to or side by side. So if you need to write that, please write that. So two adjacent angles whose non-common sides form opposite rays. If linear pairs make a straight line, that means linear pairs are equal to 180 degrees. If two angles form a line, that means they're equal to 180 degrees. So that brings us down to this example. So if the angle on the left of this line is 112 degrees, what is the angle on the right? And how do I find that? 68? How did you get that? 180 minus 112.
I did that already.
So X is 68 degrees.
So easy.
Okay, good. Two angles form a linear pair. The measure of one angle is 3 times the measure of the other. Find the measure of each angle. Okay, so it tells you they're a linear pair. Draw yourself a picture. So if they're a linear pair, they form a line. So there's my picture. One angle is 3 times the other angle. So if one of these angles is X, what's the other angle? 3X. We know because these are a linear pair that when I put them together, they should equal 180. So that means I can do 3X plus X equals 180. So that means we combine like terms. 4X is 180. Divide by 4. X equals
Hold up, I got a calculator. Nobody say anything. I can't calculate. Everybody quiet.
60.
No, bro, it's 45.
Yes,
60. It's 45.
60.
Hey. Right, everybody, 45.
45.
So you messed me up.
Okay, so find the measure of each angle. So I'm not done yet. I found what X is, so that means this side is 45. What's the left side?
45 times 3.
Which is what?
Hold on.
135. Good. Y'all are funny.
Does anyone have any water? Yeah. I do.
I do.
It's up there.
I don't want that.
Poison.
Poison.
She don't want that poison. Okay. The second type of angles.
No. Okay.
The second type of angles we're going to talk about today are vertical angles. Vertical starts with a V. So vertical angles are angles that are across the V. So this and this are vertical angles. Or this and this are vertical angles. So vertical angles are formed by two lines that intersect, and it's across that V. Okay, they're opposite of each other. Yes. Okay. Yes.
Fans make me sleepy.
What?
Fans make me sleepy. So as you stay awake. No. And I just ate. What do you want me to
I
do?
just ate two.
Shut up, Kathy. Don't look at you, probably.
All right. So, yes, things blow when we turn on the fans. Two angles.
Oh.
Hey, guys. Enough. Pay attention. Two angles whose sides form two pairs of congruent rays, or a pair of non-adjacent angles formed by two intersecting lines. Vertical angles are congruent. What does it mean for things to be congruent? They're the same. Okay? Vertical angles are the same. So, if this side of the angle is 72, the vertical angle associated with it is also 72. Okay, tell me this. If this angle is 72, what is this angle right beside it? 108.
Well, how'd you get that?
It creates a what? A line. These two angles put together create a line, so it should equal 180. So that one's 108. And guess what? If this is 108, so is this.
Because 180 subtracts 72 is what?
Why do you say that?
Add it.
Why do you do that though?
Because it creates a line, and a line is equal to 180 degrees every time.
So that creates a line.
So this creates a line, so it's equal to 180. This creates a line, it's equal to 180. This creates a line, it's equal to 180. This creates a line, it's equal to 180.
Didn't you create a line? What line?
Huh?
Hardly. Kind of like this.
Turn this out.
There you go.
Line,
Okay.
line,
Oh.
But wait, no.
Wait,
line,
You see that line?
Okay, wait. I see the line, but it's on opposite sides.
Wait, you see the line?
my finger, Harley, my finger is the line.
Okay, so why is 72 on this side and 181 on that side?
because they both.
Because
they're both.
Together, they
Oh,
form that line at the bottom.
Okay, I got
All right, we caught her.
it.
Woo! All right. So if we get this word problem, it says angle ABC and angle DBE are vertical angles. Find the measure of the angles if the measure of angle ABC is 7x minus 8 and the measure of angle DBE is 5x plus 10. So the two angles that they give us are vertical angles. We have said that they are congruent, which means that they are equal. So to solve for x, we set them equal to each other. So we start with 7x minus 8 equals 5x plus 10. Is everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you have to check something.
They are equal to each other, so you set them equal
Why
to
are
each
they
other
equal to each other?
because vertical angles are equal.
I'm not even scientific.
Honey, these are theorems that you are just going to have to learn to remember.
Okay, so let's say you got the B thingies, the X, that. what would the line ABC and D be?
So this is a picture, absolutely. So maybe this will make more sense. ABC. So this picture is going to look like this. Okay, so this is B in the middle.
Oh.
This is A. This is C.
Wait, why is it-
This is D. And this is E.
why is
So-
it-
Harley, hey man, she got it. You got it now?
Move, Elijah.
7x minus 8. And this is 5x plus 10. That's what the picture looks like. Okay.
I'm so low. Why is C? Why would C not be? Why would not be like A, B, C, B, C, E? You see what I'm saying?
No.
No.
Not the straight line.
Like, okay,
What?
this one.
Yes.
Why would it not be like A, B, C, B, C, E,
Because
D,
it's
B,
an
E, D, B, you know what I mean? Why would it not be like this?
because they create vertical angles, which means it can't be a straight line. It's got to be an angle. It's got to create that V.
Oh, thank you. Okay, I got that.
Okay.
I think it's good though. Like Roger.
It's not funny.
I said no. I said ask for the appreciation.
Anybody else questions?
Anybody else got questions so we can move on?
No, we're good.
You good? You were not.
All right. So because these are across that V, they're vertical angles, which means they are congruent. So we set them equal to each other. So now I need to subtract 5x from both sides. You get 2x minus 8 equals 10. Add your 8 to both sides. 2x is 18. And divide by 2. So x is 9. Just be careful. They're not asking for what x is. They want to know what the measure of your angles is. So now that we know what x is, we've got to plug it in to get our final answers. So this first angle is 7 times 9 minus 8. 63 minus 8 is what? So you said 9 times 7 is 63 minus 8 gives us what? 55.
That's for ABC.
Okay. This one, 5 times 9 plus 10. What does that equal to? 55. Well, didn't we just discuss the vertical angle should be equal?
Yeah.
So when you plug it in, you should get the same answer.
Math is so complicated.
Math is so complicated.
But it's so cool.
Miss Smith,
Yes.
when they call me down for tomorrow, I'm gonna go pee when they do that. So just
Got you.
wait, come back up back.
Sorry.
Back up.
What's this one taste like?
Weirdos.
She had a green one earlier.
Okay,
Oh, that one's kind of sour.
I have this electrolyte one. I don't want to try it because it's healthy.
Okay. Complementary angles. Take a look at your picture. Complementary angles are what? 90-degree angles. You should have learned this way back in middle school. Okay. Complementary angles are two angles with a sum of 90 degrees. Okay. They can be adjacent or non-adjacent. Okay, so they can be side by side or they can be two separate angles. But either way, when I put them together, they equal 90. So, if you take a look at this example, if this side of my angle is 15 degrees and the whole thing is 90, my other side is
Y'all didn't have to say a thing from the right.
That was awesome, though.
75.
Okay. If the two angles in this example are complementary, okay, and they tell me one angle is 4x minus 2 and the other one's 9x plus 1, how do I solve for x? Okay, you add the two together and set them equal to 90 because they should equal 90. So 4x minus 2 plus 9x plus 1 should equal 90 degrees. Bobo. Hey, Bobo. You missing notes, Bobo? Okay. When we combine like terms, I end up with 13x minus 1 is 90. Add 1 to both sides. 13x equals 91. What do I get when I divide by 13? 7. You don't need this. You gotta stand up, Kathy. You see what you gotta do.
They're coming for me. Oh my God.
No, they're coming for me.
Okay. X is 7, but they want to know the measure of the angles. So this first one is 4 times 7 minus 2, 26. And this one is 9 times 7 plus 1, 64. All right. I gotta turn these fans off because papers are blowing everywhere. And it's starting to stress me out. So. Listen, I like the breeze, but there's papers blowing everywhere and it's driving me crazy. Okay, so complementary angles equal 90 degrees. What do supplementary angles equal?
180.
180. So if I move to the other side, we're talking about supplementary. These are two angles with the sum of 180. Again, these can be adjacent, side by side, or non-adjacent, where they don't have to be side by side or even attached for that matter. So if you take a look at angle A and angle B in this example, they don't even touch each other. They're not even together at all. But it tells you that A and B are supplementary. So if B is 20, that means A is 60.
Oh, I thought you said 20. That's just
No, 120.
all off. I looked at the board like, what?
Okay. Let's see what we can do with this. The measure of a supplement of an angle is 36 degrees less than the measure of the angle.
180.
The measure?
Okay,
Read that again.
so the measure of the supplement of an angle is 36 degrees less than the measure of the angle. So one of your angles, let's make it no.
180.
No.
Isn't it x minus 36?
Okay, one of your angles needs to be a variable.
X.
X. Okay, so we've got an angle that is X. Just draw yourself an angle. It doesn't have to be perfect, whatever. We have one angle that's X. The supplement of that is 36 degrees less than that. How do I write 36 degrees less than that?
36.
X minus 36. So my other angle then is X minus 36. Okay, so those two angles together are supplements, which means that when we add them together, they're equal to 180. So x plus x minus 36 is 180.
So it's 2x minus 36.
Yes, so it's 2x minus 36 when you combine.
Then you add 30.
Add 36. So 2x equals 216 divided by 2.
Probably was 216 divided by 8.
Hold on, everybody.
108. So one of these angles is 108 degrees. And the other angle's what then?
108.
72.
Oh.
108 minus 36 gives you 72. Okay. When you are finished with that one, it needs to glue in on page 47.
Does anybody have a wooden pencil?
I am done.
Yeah.
You can down.
I do. I
So you
got a
can
sharp
write the possibility of
like
dying.
This big.
Yes.
Can you die when you're 15 years old?
Yes.
I said a
Right, so
possibility.
shut
I
up.
said a possibility.
You can die at any age.
Right.
Shut up, Elijah.
I said a possibility.
I said I'm
Especially
dying.
if you're in high school.
I said I'm dying. He said I'm not dying. I'm 15.
That's what I said. I'm like,
See, that's your problem. Think about drugs. Get off me.
you're not gonna cross over me.
Yes. I'm not thinking about drugs.
Okay,
You don't
It's
care
number
about
47. That's one song.
Oh, you done with
guys, we have got to stop getting off track when I ask you to do something. Focus. Okay. We need to talk about the angle addition postulate. Okay? This is very close to what we did yesterday with the segment addition postulate. We said the two smaller segments, when I put them together, gives me the big segment. Well, guess what? This is the same thing, but it's with angles. So this says the two smaller angles, when I add them together, should equal the big angle. So if you open this, I'm going to take this, and I'm going to take this, and I'm going to take this. Now,
We need 3 different colors.
if you'd like to color code yours, yes. Okay, so this says the measure of angle HIK. So the measure of this angle right here, HIK. If I add that to the measure of KIJ, which is this angle right here, it's going to equal the angle of HIJ, which is the whole thing. Okay. So, in other words, your two smaller angles that are side by side, when I add them up, it should equal the big one. That's what that's saying. I know some of you are color coding right now. Anybody still need this page? Okay, so when we go to solve these, it's very important that we show which one's the big angle and which ones are my small angles. So the first thing says measure of angle AOC. So that's AOC. Is that my big angle or my small angle?
That's the big one.
That's the big one. So above this, I would write big.
It's a big one.
Okay, that's your big. Okay, then we have measure of angle AOB. AOB. So this one's one of your small. And then we have the measure of angle BOC. That's your other small. So the two smalls added together should equal the big. Before we plug this in though, AOB is 1/2 2x plus 20. Well, what do we get when we half 2x plus 20?
1x.
1x
10.
plus 10. So before we plug that in, let's simplify it first so we get rid of that fraction. Okay, so half of 2x is x and half of 20 is 10. So let's add our two smaller angles together and set it equal to our large. So we have x plus 10, which was my first small angle, plus x, which is my second small angle, should equal 70, which is my big angle. Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. Combine like terms. X and x becomes 2x. Good. Plus 10 is 70.
2x minus
Subtract 10.
2x equals 60.
Divided by 2. So x is 30. Okay. If x is 30, what is the measure of BOC? 30. If x is 30, what is the measure of AOB? 40.
Wait.
How do you know it's 40?
Because it's
AOB is x plus 10. So if x is 30, 30 plus 10 gives me 40. Okay. I'll actually write that down here. So AOB is x plus 10. So then we plug in 30 and 30 plus 10 is 40.
Or can I just do like 70 minus 30?
You could do that too because you know the whole thing's 70. So that works. I like your way of thinking, Henley.
You like mine?
Hey, listen, I don't care whichever way you do it as long as you get the right answer. I'm not that teacher that says you're going to do it this way and like it. I will show you each and every way that you can get it. And then you figure out what works for you. Yes. Yes.
I thought it was UFOs. And that's where they go.
Well, UFO.
No, but let's be serious. I thought it was UFO getting sucked up. Like, sucked
Oh
up
my
in air and
gosh.
stuff.
All right. Angle bisector. What did a segment bisector do yesterday?
Cut in half.
Cut it in half. Guess what? Angle bisector cuts it in half.
You are too crazy.
I am. This is why I'm crazy.
It's okay. Everybody's going crazy.
Okay, so an angle bisector is a ray. A ray is something that has a dot at one end and an arrow at the other. Okay, it is a ray that cuts an angle into two congruent angles. So XZ, this is your angle bisector. Angle bisector. And when that bisects, that means that this angle here is the same as this angle here. Okay, that's what that does. That ray that's in the middle will cut your angle in half.
So
Okay, I got
evenly.
Okay, equally in half. Yes. So one angle is equal to the other. So let's take a look at this. FG is my angle bisector. So this is my bisector. So if that's my bisector, that means that this little angle right here and this little angle right here are the same. So let's fill in what we know. The measure of angle GFH. So GFH is this angle right here. GFH. It's 1/2 10x minus 20. So what's 1/2 of 10x minus 20? 5x minus 10. So this is 5x minus 10. Okay, it then tells you EFG is 3x plus 25. EFG. So that's what forms your angle. Okay, well, if FG is a bisector, then what do we know about those two angles? They're the same, so they're equal. So let's solve for x. 3x plus 25 equals 5x minus 10. If they're the same, they are equal. Okay, I'm going to move my 3x to the right so I keep everything positive. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. You're welcome to subtract 5x. So 25 equals 2x minus 10. Add 10 to both sides. So 35 equals 2x. And divide by 2. So what does x equal? 17.5. Okay, now they want us to find all these random angles. They want us to find GFH. Well, we know that GFH is 5x minus 10. So we get 5 times 17.5 minus 10. I know we don't have a lot of calculators right now. You're welcome to use your phones.
77.5.
Okay. They stole my calculators for ACT. So 77.5. We know that EFG is 3x plus 25. So 3 times 17.5 plus 25. 77.5. Well, imagine that. If it's a bisector, they should be equal. Okay? If it doesn't come out to be that way, you did something wrong. Check yourself. Now they want to know EFH.
Oh,
That's both of them put together. EFH is the big angle right here. So that's both of them put together. So 77.5 plus 77.5. 155. The last thing they want to know is, well, what in the heck is IFE?
180 subtract 155.
Okay, this makes a whole line. So if this part of it's 155, this part of it has to equal 180 when I do it. So we get 25. Or 180 minus 155. Okay, I need you to listen to me carefully. You are skipping page 48, and you are gluing this one in on page 49. Skip page 48, please.
49. Oh my God. Okay.
So skip the back side of what you just glued on.
I see why you said we need more.
47.
I told you. And I would supply the whole class all semester long, but y'all eat glue sticks. Some of y'all use a glue stick in a day.
I'm down too. Oh, I'm getting so tired.
Okay.
What's this triangle for?
Okay. We're going to do this page next. Okay. You can cut off that little triangle at the top. I'm not doing anything with that. Just get rid of it. I'm not about to stress myself out over that. Okay. I'm going to slightly book it faster this one because you should already know this theorem. Okay. Okay. So we've got two more theorems to talk about. This first one is the triangle sum theorem. Okay. What the triangle sum theorem tells you is the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle B plus the measure of angle C should always equal 180 degrees. If you add up every angle inside of a triangle, it should equal 180 every time. Okay, that'll never change. So, if I want to do number 1, X is 77. We don't know what Y is. And we know Z is 54. And when I add them together, they should equal 180. The measure of angle.
Okay.
That's how you read that.
We glue this on 50 and 51.
Yes.
We glue the triangle sum theorem first on 50.
Yes.
Is this gonna be our homework?
No. These are all notes. Yes.
Why did you do?
No, not in the middle of notes.
Never mind.
So all three angles together should equal 180. So now we combine like terms. 77 and 54. You said what? 131. So Y plus 131 equals 180. Subtract 131. And Y equals 49. What do you mean?
Keep it short.
Add both of them together and subtract from 180. That works too. Yes, that works too. It all does the same thing. Okay, so number 2, let's do it that way. So if they all equal 180, I can add 115 to 26, and that gives me 141. And then I can subtract that from 180. So that means my missing angle is 39 degrees. Okay, so either way works. I don't care which way you do it. Okay, it gets a little bit more complicated when I get to 3 and 4. Because now I'm throwing in X. You don't have just pretty little angles. So this one, you're probably going to want to set up more like number 1 than number 2. Okay, so all 3 angles added together. So that means 7x plus 6x plus 5 plus 4x plus 5 should equal 180. Combine all your like terms. 17x plus 10 is 180. Subtract 10. 17x is 170. Divided by 17, x equals 10. Okay, so that means S should be 70. U should be 65. T should be 45. Okay, number 4 then. Again, add all 3 of them together and set it equal to 180. So 26x plus 12x plus 2 plus 6x plus 2 should equal 180.
That's 12, 18.
44x.
Yeah.
Okay. 40x. Subtract 4 from both sides. 44x equals 176. Divide by 44. You said x is 4. Okay. So we know x is 4. So what is k? K is 104. What is j? 50. And what is L? 26.
One said K and
Okay. One more theorem. I know we're cutting it close. Okay. I know we're cutting it close.
Can I go after we done with this?
Yes. Okay. Really quickly. We're cutting it really close. So, up here, real fast. The exterior angle theorem states that the measure of an exterior angle is equal to the sum of its remote interior angles. Okay, so your exterior angle is angle 4. Your remote interior angles are the 2 angles that doesn't touch. So my remote interior angles are 1 and 2. So what this theorem says is if I add the measure of angle 1 to the measure of angle 2, I get the measure of angle 4. So if I add the measure of angle 1 to the measure of angle 2, I should get the measure of angle 4. We're going to talk about that. Well, if you know 1 and 2, 3 should give you 180. We already know that one. So let's jump down to number 1. Okay, my exterior angle, chill. Y'all just want to jump to I'm confused before I even get to explain anything. My exterior angle is this one right here. Okay, so to get that angle, I add 58 plus 74. What's 58 and 74? Good. I'm loud. What's 58 and 74? 132. So that's the measure of angle BCD, 132.
So you did 48 plus 74.
58 plus 74. Your 2 inside angles that don't touch that exterior will give you that exterior angle. Okay. We know that everything inside of a triangle needs to equal 180. So if these two are 132, what does this make this last one? 48.
Can you show me how you got that?
The 48?
If you're adding, like, you show me. Like, what did you?
To get what? I need you to explain to me to get.
48.
Okay. So inside of a triangle, they all have to equal 180, right?
Right.
So when I put these two together, that gives me 132. If I add another 48, I will get to 180.
Oh,
Okay.
I got you. That's what
You're fine. I just needed to know which angle you were talking about. I wasn't sure what I needed to explain. Minus 132. Okay. If I want this outside angle, this one right here, I add up these two. So 103 plus 51. 154. You add 103 and 51. Oops, sorry. I didn't realize that was off the page. My bad. Okay. Everything inside that triangle should equal 180. So if two of them already give me 154, I need 26 more to make 180. Angle sum theorem needs to go on page 50. This one goes on page 51. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know. Because I was thinking add them together, you get 180. I don't know. Don't mind me. I'm special today. We all have those days, right? So this one goes on 50. And exterior goes on 51.
I'll be back.
Okay.
Wait, which one goes on 50?
Your triangle sum theorem. All right. So you kind of have mini homework assignments tonight. Because we kind of just covered a lot of stuff. So, your first mini homework assignments. I said they're mini. Okay, your first mini homework assignment is this. Okay, let me explain this to you. Mini. It's kind of like your cut and paste that you just did last night.
That wasn't me.
That was a big
This is 5 problems. Stop whining or I will so make your homework assignments like 50 problems a night. Watch me. Right. Chill. Whew. Y'all get so upset. Okay. So, you're going to take these. You are going to paste in the problems. Okay. Then you're going to look at each problem. If I look at these ones, what kind of angles are these? Vertical. So you need to cut out vertical and put it beside that problem. Then you need to find the equation you would use to solve it, and then get me an answer. This will glue in on that page that we skipped. So page 48 is where this one will glue in. Okay, page 48, you will cut all these out and glue them in. So I need the picture, what kind of angles they are, the equation, and what x is equal to.
So in that order, like how it's set up.
I mean, I don't really care what order it's set up in. If you want to do it in blocks, as long as the 4 that go together. Okay?
You said it goes on 48?
Yes. Okay. Your other mini homework assignment. You want to pass this one out, Shabari, as well? I'm explaining this one. Okay. Your other mini homework assignment. You've got a lovely little puzzle about what elves learn in school. It's on your exterior angle theorem that we just talked about. And the other one is a coloring page on interior and exterior angles of a triangle. Okay, they're very small, very quick and easy homework assignments. Okay,